Welcome to TheoTRADE. This is Don Kaufman. It's October 25th, 2023. We're just minutes after the cash close here on this Wednesday afternoon. S&P's once again taking a hit. Meta earnings just came out. It's up right now, but no critical or material impact to the S&P's nor NASDAQ at this point. One of the critical areas to understand about this market, well, we're back to the volatility hurt locker. I'm going to explain that and much more here on this evening's update. Let's get right to work here inside of the S&Ps, which they closed down approximately 53 handles. Now, before I get into any details, because I got to tell you, when I start talking about details and, oh, we can jump to Meta and, oh, look at Microsoft and, oh, volatility, push it all aside. Talked, okay, about the volatility hurt locker. First and foremost, what does it mean? For those of you that have not been around here at TheoTRADE for a considerable period of time, maybe you've never heard that term before. Well, get used to it because we're back to it. All right, I'm going to open up a 180-day 4-hour chart. Okay, now push aside any equity products. Doesn't matter what you think about volatility. We're not even going to cover bonds just yet. The concern at this point is we've actually hit now an extremely critical level to the S&Ps. That level is none other than 4211. And again, for those of you that do not have this marked in a chart, 4211, that is in the S&P futures, is an absolutely pivotal and again, critical level. The volatility hurt locker, okay, has actually established itself a number of times, okay, not only this year, but past years. We've actually seen markets literally pinging back and forth, right in and around, of course, this 4211. And 4211 is us entering back into, again, what has been an incredibly wild volatility channel. That's all you want to think about when you start talking about, oh, the volatility hurt locker. It sounds scary, right? Open up then, after that 180-day 4-hour, I'm going to open up a 3-year, okay? Because I think that the 3-year really does this some justice of where we're presently trading. It's basically been, and again, I'm going to like kind of double highlight this. It's basically been overall a very central place for trade, okay? It's literally like the last 3 years. When you think about markets going up, markets going down, look, the bottom line is this has been the central point. It's been a critical inflection point for trade. And when I start talking about like the volatility hurt locker, here's the bottom line. Okay, this is the easiest way to interpret. Yeah, we can talk about markets and they're pinging back and forth in here and things got all kinds of crazy, but more than that, the bottom line with the 4211 and why I think it's such an important level, everything that we have seen, okay, under the 4211 has been just fabulous in terms of extreme. And it's not easy trade down here. We have been planning, okay, for this because this is where premium selling can really start to pick up. Intraday traders can just get chewed apart in this marketplace. If it's any indication, again, every trade that we've really seen, any heavy trade under this 4211 has just been outright violent, vicious, and again, chewing a lot of traders apart in what has become, again, some spectacular short-term moves. Well, once again, as I was elaborating a moment ago, we're home. We're right back to that 4211. And as we start to crest under it, and yeah, we believe at this point we're probably going to crest under the 4211, this is where markets can kind of go in the very near term, a little bit, if you will, no holds barred trading approach. Now, sure, that's coupled with higher volatility, okay? To me, this is not even secondary, it's tertiary at this point. The higher volatility, it's great, right? You can sell a little bit more premium in there, but look, things like skew are not exactly rocking, but back month volatility is up, and yes, the premium selling is good. However, we're going to have to be incredibly conservative until we actually see markets not only under that 4211, but that VIX really start to accelerate. And that's one of the causes for concern over here is that I don't like to explain a position like this often, but look, the volatility right now has actually abated slightly, and yet we're entering this big, if you will, volatility hurt locker. So absolutely could be a bit of calm before the storm. This is not, again, a loving or easy place to trade everything, again, that we've seen under that 4211. It's the extreme. And once again, I'll also, reiterate, it has been fabulous under the 4211 for premium selling to those that were really very strategic about placing their orders. With that being said, now let me take you a little deeper into it. Again, it's what I have termed over the years, again, the hurt locker, because it's just relentless under that 4211. Now, okay, we're going to glance over, of course, at Meta. Meta is out, okay, after the close. And as I said a moment ago, this has a significant expected move, okay, to the tune of almost $26. And at this point in time, it's basically up $10 after the close. Meanwhile, Meta was already down 13 on the day. So right now, what are we? Net, we're massively unchanged. And it's just not having a material impact, if you will, to NASDAQ, nor is it really having a material impact to the S&P. So, all right, we're through Meta. Now, before I go into any more details about the overall marketplace, Amazon tomorrow, which is tomorrow after the bell, that one I would actually be a bit of cause for concern. Amazon, normally I don't mention specific earnings as being a cause for concern, but look, okay, I've been talking just, again, consistently, every one of these evening videos, the weekend updates. If the markets are going to see heavy sell side activity, it's going to be done exclusively and unequivocally inside of big tech. And the reason that I'm actually elaborating upon Amazon is Google, okay, took a big hit, and it had to do with their cloud and growth. Amazon, okay, everything that is Amazon has really to do with the cloud and cloud business. And today started taking a degree of a hit, okay, in sympathy, of course, with Google. So it is going to be a bit more pivotal in Amazon tomorrow after the close than I even care to admit. And look, I'm carrying positions so that we're all clear. I am carrying positions in almost every major tech stock, including, of course, I'm short Google. I'm short Microsoft. That didn't work out so well. I'm short just a tiny bit of Amazon right now. A bit of Nvidia and pretty much some Meta and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, I'm short a lot of things right now, which worked out very, very well. But again, I do have that cause for concern because if Amazon comes up short, it's I think it's nail in the coffin time for tech as a whole. Now, okay, let's loop back around before we get anything crazy too specific over here. Okay, let's loop back around to what I was originally discussing, and that is, again, markets coming into an extremely volatile time right now. And again, if you're measuring volatility by the VIX, I don't think that's a great and fair assessment at this point. It's just the bottom line is all the trade that we've seen under 4211, things get crazy. Now, this week and the remainder of this week, which of course is just here on Thursday and Friday, clearly some more earnings coming out. But there's another, I would say, critical cause for concern. And to display that, it has everything to do with the SPX and the expected move. So today, you've seen a pretty good degree of volatility, right? And S&Ps are down, 1.3%, and the NASDAQ's taken a 2.5% hit. But at times you have to kind of stop, in the marketplace and give yourself, if you will, like some orientation of where we really are. And right now, this week, it's almost a $94 expected move. So meaning that you're looking for this $94 move to the upside, $94 move to the downside. This is the weekly expected move specific to the SPX. And what I want you to understand is that we're not even halfway home, okay, to the lower edge of the expected move. As I was said, I was trying to loop this back around. So why am I bringing this up? As I said a moment ago about entering into like this volatility hurt locker, okay, of a marketplace. And again, I have dubbed it that because this is where traders get kind of ground apart. You have to have perspective. If you don't, you're dead. Okay. This is where like people are like, oh, the markets are rocking to the downside. I need to sell some options premium. And the truth is, okay, you need to hang on right here. You need to hang on and maybe wait, okay, ultimately till we hit an upper and or lower edge of an expected move. And if we don't hit the upper and or lower edge of an expected move, okay, that you actually keep some powder dry. And I got to stress that because as I said, everything under 42.11, things get downright crazy, right? This is where traders, as I said, you're going to hear me say this time and again, they're getting ground apart on an intraday basis, okay? That's again, a whole lot of trading experience, all right, that has seen this time and again, especially over the last 3 years, specifically under that particular level, has been hostile. Meanwhile, we're not even halfway home to the lower edge of the expected move. And that's why I say gain perspective before stepping out. All right, another area of the market, clearly at this point, you got to be concerned about the bond market, right? Because once again, even after people were coming out of the woodwork 2 days ago, the bond market has actually bottomed and they were actually covering positions. Yeah, well, that does not look like the bond market has bottomed. And something else we're going to be facing, okay? Oh, it looks like we're going to hit this 5% and soar right through it, okay? This is something I have been actively involved in and actively trading. The bond market looks like it's going to see some continuation of the downside. One thing I do not like in the bond market right now, okay? The volume so consistent to the point where you could almost take a nap looking at the volume there, picked up inside of the TLT. I'll give you that. But this is, again, the ETF version. The big size and the big volume really gets done in these bonds, okay? And yeah, like the volume picked up to some extent in here. The big volume gets done, okay? Ultimately inside of the notes. And yeah, it picked up, okay? It's too methodical at this point. I think that we have to crest through that 5%, okay, to see any real capitulation, specifically inside of the 10-year, obviously the interest rate at 5%. But this ZB, okay, do not discount the ability for a much more significant move, okay, to the downside. Remember, it's less about interest rates. It's all about panic at the disco inside of the ZB. Unrealized losses can actually cause people to puke out of positions. This could get a lot more extreme before it calms down. Look, again, bigger picture here in the S&Ps, yeah, right on it, right? 42.11. But okay, on that weekly SPX, as I said, gain a little bit of knowledge just looking at that expected move and recognizing we're still out literally in the middle of nowhere. Well, welcome back to the Volatility Hurt Locker. Thanks everybody for joining us here at TheoTRADE. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.